hot as a fire.
Hotter than the sun.
Let's go into some cold openings. So today's cold opening, it is the 1880s. Magdalena and Co. are in Seattle in Turnbull Peaks, a small logging town in the northwest of Washington state, where we find Mitchell, Rasmus and Desmond, the Turnbull brothers, in their 40s, having some fun together. Then it led to pipe shooter that fires handkerchiefs. They fire it at old Ginger, who's watching some dogs fight. Would you like to be Mitchell, Rasmus, Desmond, or Ginger?
Rasmus and Desmond.
Okay, so I will be Mitchell and Ginger. And oh, boys, it's so long since we've hangered around together and had so much fun out here. What with all the logging that we have to do all the time.
This has been a lovely day. The owls are a bit weird.
Oh, you know what? It'd be a lot of fun. We made this old whistle into a handkerchief shooter, and we blasted some unsuspecting old crone.
That would be silly, wholesome fun. Wouldn't it, Rasmus? Yeah.
Well, what? Here, take one of your handkerchiefs. Hope it's not too snotty. This is kind of humour we had back then. Hope it's not too snotty. Can you wrap it up in this penny whistle? Have you done that? All right,
yeah.
Desmond, shoot it. No, I'll shoot. No, you, Desmond. You shoot it. No, I'll shoot it. Shoot it right over there. Look at Ginger. What's she doing?
She's being weird.
Ow, ow, ow. Dogs. I love dogs fighting. Ow, ow, ow. Rip his throat out, Grumpy. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, Skimpy, don't you even stop. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, I've got 2 bob on you for win, Skimpy. Rip his bleeding nose out. Ow, what was that? Oh.
Got you.
Oh. Oh, it's just a handkerchief. Oh, I'm losing my balance. Oh, ow. Just as Skimpy was ripping gonads off a dog. I sprained my finger. Mitchell, was that you? No, it wasn't. It was Desmond.
It was me, Desmond. You fool.
Listen, Desmond, you're a lovely lad. But we've got to reach things on top shelf one day. But Mitchell, you've never done bugger all for me. And one day, a much bigger handkerchief will cause a much bigger problem for one of your descendants. Yes, you heard me. That's a bloody curse.
What's going to happen? Some sort of bigger.
I just told you what the curse was. I'm not repeating it.
Well, I don't believe in curses. I'm just watching out for those owls.
Maude, it's a Maude good cast. Season 5. Did she drink unapologetic rotgut? Mitchell's sweet granddaughter, or a reincarnated Ginger. She's a supportive wife and mother. It was Judas on the hills with the lies, kissing the cement real hard. Kids get baptized. It's the Maude Goodcast, Season 5. We're back for another Season 5. That's the end of the song.
I can't tell if you're whispering or if I just can't hear you very loud, but it sounds like you're leaning in and whispering everything that you say.
It might be. Well, it might indeed be. So, welcome to today's episode. Let's give the people a little bit of a recap. So last week, John Poop squashed Barker, thus effectively ending his reign as king of the Leica cult.
Hail Leica!
We rescued Ergen from the spacesuit. Isn't that right, Ergen?
Yeah.
Oh, boys, how can I ever repair you? If no tells, Ergen's going to have some clean underdubs. Ha ha ha, that's humour from now. The zoo is closed down and they will never hurt no one again. So that's good. We wrapped up all of that stuff.
Hey, boys, my arc is barely started. I still got to go to the end of space-time and meet Matthew McConaughey, the Star Child, and ascend to space heaven and clone myself and with the trialers. Don't you remember? That's even why I came into space this week, for real.
I forgot there was things to do after the dog.
Well, after I fuck home and play some first-person bloody shooters, I left my computer logged in. Probably lost 10 points or something. So I'm going for flying back to Earth. Who wants to come with me? I'm coming. I've had enough of this. So Stan, you're coming? Good.
Oh, come.
Ooh, envelope.
Urban.
Oh no, you're first there.
Oh, come.
No, you're first there as well. Your job's not done here. I can sense it. I can sense it. Okay, Rod. I know you can talk proper, but I'll play along. So you and
I believe that's Todd.
I believe you, Todd, and Soichi11 are going for go back to Earth. Are you? Come with me. Come on. Let's all go back to Earth. Diane, where are you going?
Diane's dead. How did you survive, Diane? I had the philosopher's stone.
Diane, where are you going to go?
Everywhere and nowhere.
Are you going to take that watermelon alien spaceship and maybe explore some of the fruit stratosphere? Let's hope Dan doesn't have too many lines. All right. All right, then see you. And that just leaves me, Nathan, and Jeff, Envelope, Ergun, and Animate Carbon Todd. We're going to head off to find Star Child Michael McConaughey and get Jeff up to space heaven.
Yeah, that's what I came for. I'm bursting billions by the double. And I've already spent all my cash.
What about all the experiments that happen in Sunderland?
It's okay. They'll be all right. I just leave them ticking over. Just leave them ticking over, boys.
All right. So, but first, let's go on, head out to this edge of space-time.
Yeah, but first, we got to take a stop off in a space casino.
Why?
Not going to tell you, but we're going to get some space casino. So, hope you bought your spaceships. Bye, John. Bye, John. Bye, Rod. Bye, Soichi. Bye, Diane. Bye, John Poop.
I'm already imagining blasting people's bloody faces and noses off AAA shoulder.
Yeah, good luck, everybody.
Hello, Goodman, Morning, and Magdalena and Mitchell's granddaughter club. Abstain from a number of swine, flesh, dirt, turkeys, and brawn, my soulmate. Brought to you by Jeff Apple Sunderland. The Boondocks, the back and beyond, have fallen silent of cheeps and peeps and growls and howls. Jeff, what the heck have you done there? The air is pungent, suffocating and acrid. Only silence in the realm of bush and foliage. Eerie. It is eerie, Jeff. All hail corporate imperialism. Sponsors. Cerebus the Aardvark. Dave Sims' ideas are totally justified, says man on internet.
Euro's child pop mastermind, peanut dispenser. Wow, Joshua. Who is that?
That man who coughed in the audience at Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Help me. A Tyrant Death Squad got me.
Vanilla's 90s girl band, the subject of Jack Derrida's upcoming biography/biopic.
Cerebus the Architect. We often use words of pirate and privateer interchangeably. Legally, there is a difference between a private and a pirate. Unlike the pirate, the privateer holds a legal title. She or he is entitled to fly a country's flag. On the opposite, pirates navigate without legal authorization. Their only flag is the black flag, inhabited ruins, expansible corporate incubator. That's a mysterious one, isn't it?
This and Republican actor Vince Vaughn to wrap things up.
A good chunk there. Now, as we make our way to the space casino, I think it's going to take us most of the episode to get there. So we, thankfully, we can all have a rest. Why don't you give me a number from the Mauditorium?
Yeah, 119.
Okie dokie, 119 it is. So welcome to the Maud Flanders Internet Museum Theme Park and Database, the world's greatest and premier Maud Flanders Internet Museum and Database and Theme Park and Hot Cake Restaurant. We are just one of over 58 MFIMDBs around the globe and space, currently under reconstruction after mysterious toaster fires. We have always been here. Find us in Worsley Mesnes next to Netto Car Park, behind the bins, in discount area of Shopping Town, alongside Threepenny Assassination and Reasonable Hooch. 119, you say? Let's hope it's a good one, without many tears. 119. Are the Flanders just nice, or are they creepy and weird? Standing and smiling Stepford wives. Are we suspicious of their goodness?
I think at this point we're very suspicious of. Well, no, I'm going to change that instantly. Ned, Rod, and Todd are creepy, and Maude is sort of the. She's not nice. She can be if she chooses to be, but Ned is like inherently nice. Ned can't not be nice initially with people until he like snaps. Rod and Todd we never really see them being particularly nice. We just see them being, yeah, like creepy, sheltered, and weird. They're sort of polite and stuff to each other, and like they're obviously pleasant kids, but they're not. When they're just the kids with, like, when Todd is with the gang when they go to Shelbyville, he isn't like overly nice to all the other kids. He's just sort of scared and sheltered and a bit strange and clinging to database for safety. But there is a clip that we'll probably get to in like our season 8. It's that David Byrne song. Homer and David Byrne sing a song about Ned, and one of the lines towards the end is something Ned and his creepy little offspring Rod and Todd, and it shows Ned, Rod, and Todd singing along to it in the car, and Rod and Todd say, "That's us, hooray!" So they're not bothered about it.
Maybe they don't believe it. So if we take Maude's diary and her background into account, she's got some skeletons in the closet, and so does Ned. It's only a matter of time, surely, until R&T start acting up. I mean, I know we've seen the flash forwards, but those are pretty weak flash forwards, aren't they?
Yeah, they just sort of settled on one gag for them. I could see one of them being the kind of nice where they think they have to kill someone because it's the nicest thing to do. That kind of creepy nice.
To save their soul.
Yeah, like a sweet Dharma.
Jeez Louise. I'm not going to go down that. There's a dark story there, but I'm not going to go down that path. But on a more positive note, we've had a postcard from Jacques Derrida, who's currently, as you know, down in the wee principality at a subquantum level. Would you like to hear his postcard?
Yes, is the front of it a picture of an attractive woman? It says, "Wish you were her."
It is actually, but what he's done is he's taken Michael Foucault's face and he's cut it out and he's put it not just over her face, but also over her boobies and all of her knees and lady parts as well. So it's just, it's Foucault Darake, as we might say. Here it says,
"I need no alibis to find me in the spooky distance. Hello, Nathan and Brendan. I am everywhere and nowhere. Peter Hommelhoff, rector at Heidelberg, summarized my place as beyond the boundaries of philosophy as an academic discipline, a figure not only for the humanities, for the cultural perception of a whole age, but, sigh, life in the wee principality is not what it was cracked up for to be. Endless beaches and open roads were promised, but quantum pence tires of his tiny crackers, and you can't fly doon here. Tiny Guy Debord is an effing nightmare. He's always trying to put on parties and events and stuff."
And he signs off with a quote.
"You always return to the water."
Catch dead. Right in a hamster. Slipping between the blades of grass. Tiny dead. Deconstructing everything. Coming to you to tell you what's what.
As oblique as ever, but I know, Jacques, if you're out there in the between the molecules, thank you for that. But what do you make of that, Nathan? You always return to the water.
That is a good one. It sounds very Twin Peaks, actually.
Well, we know that Jacques is a reincarnation. It was reincarnated as the TV show Lost. Maybe he was also reincarnated as Twin Peaks. That would make a lot of sense. He does strike me as being Lynchian.
It would. I was reading an old Lost magazine the other day, and Damon Lindelof, the sort of co-creator, said his 2 favourite shows / biggest inspirations were Twin Peaks and The Simpsons.
Ooh la la. Did he mention Jock the Pen Editor at any point?
Unfortunately not.
Oh, well.
The water thing, yeah.
You always return to the water.
If he'd said ground or dirt, it would have been a lot more death. Easy to pinpoint death, but water's a bit more vague. You could be talking about the waters of the womb, where you begin and you end. Well, you end up as dust, don't you? So eventually similar to Jacques now, you just keep getting broken down smaller and smaller until eventually maybe you are the water. You become condensation.
H2O.
Exactly. H2, oh no, she better don't.
Oh no, you didn't. H2, that's what she said.
She done already had hers.
I know.
That's what I think he means anyway.
How does that relate to modelling?
She's dead, so she has returned to her water.
She's returned to eternal womb of Gaia. And
in a more specific Bongo context, we did actually see her in one of the Bongos get pushed off that side of the ark into a watery death. So she returned to the water then, pretty literally.
But literally and figuratively. Now, returning to the water, does that mean de-evolute? Devolute.
I would say that's what he's going for. You unevolve like a Digimon.
Do Digimons unevolve?
Yeah, Digimons can go back and forward, whereas Pokemon are very, it's one and done.
It's one and done, isn't it? But they can do super evolutions. So.
Yes. However, I think we stole that directly from Digimon, to be honest, about 20 years later.
Shall we move on to today's content? Do you want to give these good people some background on what we're going to be talking about in today's Bongo 3?
Bongo 4?
Is it Bongo 4? Good Lord.
Yeah.
How time flies.
We've done the same thing with Bongos as the Simpsons did with Treehouse of Horror. We didn't do a Bongo in the first season, so our Bongos are a number less than our season number.
Intentional.
Yes. Given that Statman John has just talked about other people's underpants for quite a while now, I have a stat for us. After this Bongo cast, we will have covered 23 Bongos.
Ooh la la. Roll up for the underpants show.
And I'd say that we're about halfway through the Bongos here, but we've still got some. I'm saving some good ones, but that's all I wish to say.
You're not necessarily going in bongological order, are you?
No, I'm just picking. I'm staying away from post-death appearances as much as I can so we can cover them at the correct time.
Spoiler.
I have made more notes today about when these comics come in her timeline to make it a bit more fun. And one of these comics was written by a well-known TV show writer that I'll get onto later.
Interesting. Was it Conan O'Brien?
It was not.
Clip one. So this is from Simpsons comic number 19, Don't Cry For Me, Jebediah. The Jebediah Springfield statue cries. And so in image one, there's two images from this, but image one we see gathered around the statue of Jebediah with a tear on his cheek. We have the usual suspects. We have the Hibbets. We do not have the Hibbets. We have Frank, Barney, Apu, Mr. Largo, Mo, Lenny and Carl, Skinner, and of course we have Ned and Maude. So Ned is standing there with his arms in a really quite a strange position, looking puzzled. And Maude's looking to Ned as if to say, "What should I be thinking now, Ned?" Which is very unusual of her. And then we move on to a second image in which Maude is now, she knows what to do and what to think. She's selling Jebediah hankies for $4.95. She has Jeboy Bears that maybe she made herself, I'd like to think so. And a t-shirt that says, "I felt his pain, Springfield Miracle-a-thon 96. Popsicle stick cabins, pine cone necklaces just like those worn by Springfield. And don't miss famous televangelist J. Vernon Pentecost will authenticate the miracle today at 3 p.m. So Bart is looking at Maude and Ned in this stall, and we have maybe a relation of salmon pink beard man over there. And Bart, with his skateboard under his arm, is saying, "With the article I'm going to write about this circus, I can't miss." So lots to unpack there.
Yeah, very out of context for both of us. This comic comes between Lisa the Iconoclast and Much Apu About Nothing. So this comes directly after the Jebediah episode in Maude's timeline.
Okay.
So I think she's just in the Jebediah hype still. I think she would fully believe that the statue was actually crying because she's pro-Jebediah and pro-miracle. There'd be no questions for her here. But in that first panel, she is gawping. Very gawpy looking Maude.
Very gawpy, isn't she?
She is. This was written by a man called Bill Morrison. The colours on her are inverted. It's like a Bongo exclusive. You get those Funko Pops that are more expensive and just slightly different. This looks like Maude's Bongo colours, which is fun. And the three random people in the second panel interest me. The guy on the left looks really familiar for some reason. Like he's been a villain, like a sleazy sort of ad man or lawyer or something in the show, I think. Middle woman looks, that's a Maude face.
It's a Maude / Marge mashup.
Yes, Marge. And yeah, the other guy who looks like the brother of Salmon Pink Beard Man wearing the Mr. Plow jacket for some reason. What do you think they're there for? There must be a charity situation. I don't think they are making money for themselves off this.
So that 96, that's the actual, that's the correct date. So are they there for the Springfield Miracle-a-thon?
I think the fact that the statue's crying is the Miracle-a-thon. I'm assuming they built an event around the statue because they found it crying. Interestingly, though, like I don't think we've ever been told what year it is on The Simpsons, and here it is specifically saying it's 1996.
And even more specifically, 3 p.m.
J. Vernon Pentecost is a very good name.
It is. I'm pretty sure he's the guy who presents the Judgmental Hour.
Yeah.
I think it's only a matter of time before we hear more from J. Vernon Pentecost.
I hope so. The second mod on this is a damn good mod for Bongo.
That's not bad at all, is it? That's the kind of mod you'd have tattooed on your upper arm.
One day. I've written that she's caught up in the hype of it all because, as we can tell, these are the only 2 panels she's in this entire comic. So she does her thing here, she abandons shit. Whatever else happens with this miracle, once she's sold a couple of these hankies and burrs, she's out.
Is this snake oil, or does she really believe that she should be merchandising this miracle?
Well, I think that Ned thinks it's fully for charity. Maude would be the one saying, "Shall we keep a bit for ourselves?" You know, like try and convince him that it's for like Rod's insulin or something.
Would you think Maude would set up her own charity and then funnel all the money through that into her bank account?
Not all of the money. I do believe she would steal from her own charity, but it would be what she would consider a moral amount. So like 5%.
5.
I don't
5
think
to
she's gone
15%.
full days off.
What percent did Jeff Bezos steal from his own charity?
110%.
How much recycling do you think he's going to need to do to offset the carbon from his space rocket ship?
A significant amount.
Going to have to recycle everything.
Fueled by the urine of Amazon factory workers and tears.
I think our Jeff missed a trick, didn't you, Jeff?
Hey, come on. I'm not a monster.
Our Jeff just wants to kill a couple of dogs.
I think Jeff's murder hype has been satiated now.
Yeah, stop yakking. Let's get to the space casino and then on to heaven. I'm even going to fuel my rocket with piss. It ain't even going to go so far.
That's all I have to say about this one. There's not a lot to it. I picked a couple of short ones, but I do like that Jebediah one. I like the images. I like the way it looks.
Good art. Well done. It's Bongo for once. Moving on to Simpsons Comic 25, Marge Attacks. Marge becomes a town celebrity. And we get a picture here where Maudlin kind of dressed down, like her hair's kind of brushed down. Can't tell if she's like in her pajamas or whatever, and that's why she's got this kind of down hair. And she's saying, Neddy, it says here not to use this technique when frying bacon. And Ned has dropped the pan with bacon in it, shouting, ow, diddly yee ow. Marge, ka-ching, Maude is reading a book written by Marge Simpson with Marge's face on the front called Cooking with a Smile. This book is so good that the spine of the book, they've just wrote cooking with. They've not actually bothered to finish unless they've squeezed it in very small at the bottom. And the book is so good, it doesn't even require a blurb on the back cover. The back cover is just absolutely blank.
And a very basic front cover.
That's all you need. I mean, hey, the Bible doesn't even have a picture of Jesus on the front sometimes.
No, exactly. No reviews. This comes after the Apu immigration episode and the start of season 8. So this is after we've seen when they go to the summer house, and I think this is after the virtual Springfield one. Her expression to me in this says that she's reading this book in like let's see what she's got to say for herself kind of way. That's what the expression reads to me, but she is using the book correctly. She is telling Ned something directly out of the book. Ned's not that incompetent though.
No. How long have you had these kind of swinging doors going into the kitchen?
Oh, they don't. And again, I've written, what room is she in? Saloon doors. Is this like another mystery room in that house? This isn't anywhere that we've seen.
It's got to lead into the kitchen though.
How do you know it's the kitchen?
I mean, he's cooking bacon in there. Did they have another? They have another room?
It could be like the garage, and he's doing that sort of like, it's a hot day and he's cooking it on the top of the car, and that's why he's saying, don't do that. This book says don't do that. I guess because we don't know what technique he's taught. Like, we don't know what technique Ned's used, but it seems to involve the pan being on the floor and him in pain. Which
he's obviously used the wrong technique, hasn't he?
He has. But he's nowhere near this incompetent.
He's just reading Cooking with a Smile. He says that he tries something, but specifically whatever technique, and I hope to God we find out, whatever technique it is for cooking, it's not to be used when frying bacon.
Exactly. She is pajamaed, I think. It seems to me like she's doing a bit of bedtime reading.
Okay, and Ned's just frying up some bacon just before bedtime. That doesn't sound like that would fly in the Flanders house. Bacon for supper.
It seems too unhealthy in general for them to have bacon. Considering the nachos are cottage cheese and cucumbers, bacon seems like they would have some kind of Flanders alternative to it. If not turkey bacon, then McCartney bacon or something.
Would it just be maybe just cornflakes heated up?
Maybe. The thing, it does look like bacon kind of in the picture.
Do you think they might be at the holiday home?
It could well be. That would make sense. That they're not even in their home. That picture's weird, isn't it?
What about this? These are the anti-nuclear signs, and it says love. Why does Maude have an anti-nuclear sign on her wall?
It's pretty clear to me that those are just peepholes that are being covered for the time being.
Peepholes into the garage.
Yes, or into the room that Maude's in via the garage.
Very good.
Just fry your bacon and get out.
Clip 3. We are in the Springfield Community Church. Lovejoy appears to be rifling through some kind of box. And as Bongo is wont to do, many of the parts of this picture are in black and white. This is a particularly badly drawn side mod. Ned is coming in and Lovejoy is saying, listen up, folks, it's time for our annual I Am That I Ambrosia cook-off. I am that I Ambrosia cook-off. As usual, we need to lay in a tremendous supply of pink gelatine, mayonnaise, and tiny marshmallows. Thanks be to God for a healthy church treasury and a bulk-rageous Big Buyers Club membership card. Ambrosia. So pink, so goopy. This is Ned, I think, talking about how he's coming in a little bit late for the committee. Maude already there. No bottom lip whatsoever.
Unducked. My first note, this is called Flanders' Big Score, and I couldn't be bothered reading the entire thing, so I don't know what the big score is. And again, Maude doesn't care for this big score, because this is her only interaction with him in this entire comic. My first note was that is a bad hibbert.
It is a particularly bad hibbert. I was going to ask you, who is it? It's so bad.
Yes, that is a bad hibbert. It's weird that Merc Wimby would be sat on the front row of this meeting as well, just as a member of the town.
Is that Millhouse? Millhouse is down there.
I was going to say it's Kirk.
That is a very bad Homer.
They're all very bad.
Lovejoy's not too bad.
Lovejoy's okay. Ned's okay. I do like the sort of the black and white thing. I think is to just indicate that maybe there's a spotlight on Lovejoy, or like they're in the dark part of the room. We wouldn't know the fact that the man speaking, whose speech bubbles take up 50% of this picture, is the focus. Yeah, I just think it's a nice. I don't know. It's interesting to me. An interesting thing to do.
One thing about Bongo is they never fail to condescend their audience.
That's true. I don't understand, the entire thing that Lovejoy says makes absolutely no sense to me, really. The three things he names, and just lay in a tremendous supply of pink gelatin. Lay in to what? Lay in is a weird phrase. I think it's supposed to be I am that I am. I am that I ambrosia, but that doesn't make any sense to me either. Bulk rageous, big bio. These are all jokes that sound like the references to past jokes, and they're not.
Well, I am that I am is a biblical phrase. So just seconds after we talked about them condescending to the audience, they hit us with a reference that we did not get.
You say we. I did explain it to you just now.
Jesus states, for unless you believe that I am, you will die in your sins. And later the crowd attempts to stone Jesus in response to his statement in John 8:58. Before Abraham was, I am. It's a good phrase, Jesus. Well done, playing with the temporal nature.
The tone of the people, the townspeople are always bothering Jesus, sound very Springfieldy. They seem like they rally into a mob.
Attempting to stone him to death for telling them that unless they believe in him, they will die in your sins.
Yeah, that's something that Mo would definitely charge. Like with when Mr. Burns is the alien, He says, I bring you love. I think it's Lenny Krause. He's bringing love, don't let him get away, break his legs. So that's very Bible-esque. It's not relevant to this, though. I don't see any situation where Maude's already there and Ned's late.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. And she's not looking at the door waiting for him.
No. Nor has she saved him a seat from the looks of things.
So ambrosia was the food of the gods, as we know, but it is also the name of a fruit salad.
Yes, I assume that's what Hall is referencing.
An ambrosia salad topped with canned mandarin orange slices, maraschino cherries, and a canned pineapple ring.
Wonderful. I was confusing it with Angel Delight. I thought it was similar to Angel Delight.
Angel Delight truly is the food of the gods.
Yeah. And Garmonbosia is the food that the people in Twin Peaks feed for. I think it's the pain and suffering of humans, and that's what they eat.
Spoiler. I'm only on episode 3.
Garmonbosia. I'm pretty sure that the dream stuff starts happening pretty quickly.
Oh, it does. He had a dream in episode 3. It's good. Anyone out there that hasn't watched Twin Peaks should watch it. It's great. Next picture. We now flip to I'm finding it hard to picture where this is taking place. Ned is now saying in his voiceover, when I handed that detective correspondence course over to Ned Flanders, this is not Ned talking. When I handed that detective correspondence course over to Ned Flanders at that charity auction we held to buy Barney Gumble a new liver, before long he became a top-notch Private Richard. I assumed he didn't want to say Private Dick, but that's when I thought it was. Is this Lovejoy speaking now?
I don't know. It does sound like Ned. I know what you mean. I thought it was Ned until you read out the name Ned Flanders. Yeah, I would go for Lovejoy.
So somebody's given everyone these pictures, because if you look at the picture itself is them receiving these said gifts. You see, Ned is holding Dave, Mr. Snoopy Nagelman's detective correspondence kit. Again, I'm not sure if that is a reference to somebody. Barney, who's referred to that in this particular charity auction was to buy him a new liver, and yet he has been given a Duff Home Brewery kit.
That's my favourite thing about this panel, I think.
One-armed man, what's his name?
Herman
has got Hypno Head's mind control kit. I'm not sure if that's a reference to something. And Kearney has a painting of a clown yawning with the words prison pastels underneath it. I liked the term prison pastels so much that I stole it and put it in one of my songs this week.
Nice. That painting must be a reference to a real painting. It's too specific to not be. I have written, is Dave Mr. Snoopy Nagelman's detective correspondence kit? Is that a great name or an awful name? I can't tell. And the garment she's wearing in this one is in need of being discussed.
Well, I didn't mention Maude because I was going to come to her, because it is a terrible drawing of Maude.
It isn't good, is it?
What's going on with these eyebrows, eyelashes / eyebrows?
Her mouth is very ducky as well. One of those eyes is significantly smaller than the other as well. And I've only started noticing this recently, but in a lot of stuff, she has a jagged fringe, not a rounded fringe as I've always drawn and assumed. When I first saw this as well, I thought Herman was holding something that said Hypno Head's wind control kit, which made it even more confusing. But they've given, I don't know why they went for, they obviously had Ned and Maude because it's the Ned story, and Barney because of the joke, but Herman and Kearney as the other two people in this panel this is why I like Bongo. They just pick people at random and throw them in there, and that's what I would do. And I'd like to think that Maude would be baking something simple for this Barney thing, like sugarless cookies or something. I think that's what she would provide here, but I don't know if they've had the fundraiser between panels.
It's hard to say because the charity auction.
Yeah, that is the panel, isn't it?
Yeah, so he handed over the detective thing, so that therefore Ned outbid everybody else for it in the same way that Barney outbid everyone for the Duff thing.
Yeah, the outfit. Why would they? It's like they sort of forgot what Maude Flanders wore on the show and couldn't be bothered to check, so they just thought it's roughly this, isn't it?
That's more or less it'll do. It's a kind of oldie worldy Little House on the Prairie outfit. That's close enough for Bongo.
What does Ned's wife, Marge, wear? Let's just throw her in something.
Prison pastels.
Yes.
Dave, Mr. Snoopy Nagelman, does not seem to refer to anything in the real world, so I would check the credits of that comic and see whether Dave Nagelman somehow appears. Before long, he became a top-notch Private Richard.
It was written by a man called Gary Glasberg. That's about it. That's one of the most confusing ones we've looked at, I think.
Which is good.
Because, yeah, I think I'll have a look at that and see what the context actually is.
So here we go. We have three pictures that come from Simpsons Comics 39, Sense and something. Probably some play on the word sensibility or some such like. So
Sensibility.
Sensibility. So in picture one, we have a horrifically alien-eyed Maude sitting with an equally alien-eyed Helen.
Yeah.
These should be Rod and Todd next to them, but I have no idea who they actually are. But says obscenity sensitives, Maude and Ned Flanders, Reverend Lovejoy and his alarmist wife Helen. I like that Maude gets top billing in there. What's going on here?
Well, this is the weirdest one. The writer of this is a guy called Scott M. Gimple, who took over, he's like the showrunner for The Walking Dead. He took over from Frank Darabont in season 2 or something and ran The Walking Dead for 7 years, and now he's like the Kevin Feige of The Walking Dead. They're trying to do the universe stuff. They've got different stuff going on, different shows and different movies and all that. He wrote this comic, which is just very strange. What a weird trajectory of
he wrote this after he'd started doing The Walking Dead? No, sure.
No, this is 1998 or something. But he also isn't the guy who wrote The Walking Dead comics. He's just the guy who adapted them for the TV show. So it's not that would make more sense.
Yeah, Robert Kirkman wrote the Walking Dead comics, and it's an independent comic, a small independent comic that really took off. So good on you. Great comic. Great comic. I've never really watched the show. I didn't get into it, but the comic is very, very good.
Yeah.
Then we go to 30 seconds later. Do you want to mention the badness of this Maude? What's going on with her face? It looks like she's taking a pound.
I just wrote, they didn't even try.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. Look at the comparison between an almost TV show level Ned and what can only be described as a scribble.
Yeah. The same with Lovejoy and Helen. Lovejoy's okay, but Helen's suffered.
Damn the patriarchy.
Descriptions of them are also quite good. Obscenity sensitive. A good way to describe surface Maude, but we know that she likes a little bit of a swear every now and again on her own.
Yes. I'm sure her diary today will be expletive littered.
But yeah, they've not tried, and they're unapologetic about that.
Bongo doesn't apologise. Doesn't get any better, to be honest. It's only the fact that she's angry in the next scene that kind of disguises the badness. 30 seconds later, so we've got a strange crowd here of Krusty's dad, Mr. Burns, the Lovejoys, and Maude and Ned watching as Homer is dragged away in chains by his name Eddie. Yes. Sorry, folks. Sob. I'd frown with the rest of you, but I just can't stop crying. Sob, says Ned. Maude is just angered by this. Say goodbye to your daddy, little lady. He's going away for a long time. Why? What's the charge? As Wiggum walks out angrily with a stack of indistinct books.
Exactly. I'm guessing this group of. First of all, I don't think this is 30 seconds later. I think there was panels in between. That Lou's very bad in the top corner of that panel. It's a pretty bad Lou. He looks tired and long.
It's the eyes, isn't it?
Yeah, they just seem to be doing this tiny eye thing. I'm assuming that group of people is supposed to be the figureheads of the town. You've got the rabbi and the mayor and the rich guy, and then the rest of them are all religious based. But I don't know what he's done. But she is livid. Look at her arm.
She's absolutely. Look at it. That hand is definitely on that hip. But look at Homer's face. This is great. This is the best part of the. Homer's face is being dragged away. Has he been knocked unconscious by those policemen as well?
I think he might be very, very drunk.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I don't know what he's done. But I like that. I like that we've just jumped to. We don't need to know what he's done. We know enough about Maude and Homer's relationship to know that, this isn't the first or last time she'll give him that look. We haven't seen Maude and Burns together for a while. That happened a lot quite early on.
Yeah. Maude saw Burns in a lot of favourable positions, and once again, I think she'd agreed that he's on the right side of the law here.
Is Bart floating? Like, he's way too far away from the ground.
He must be stood on something. It's hard to say. He's shoulder height with the Flanders, which is not his real height. I don't think Maude's actually looking at home. I think she's like looking down. She seems to be looking at Lisa.
She does actually, doesn't she? They all, Quimby and Rabbi Krustovsky are looking at Homer. The rest of them, yeah, seem to be focusing. Bart looks like he's really happy. Bart looks like he's got like pride in his eyes looking at Homer.
It's either that or an embarrassed kind of thing. Bongo doesn't do nuanced emotions very well. But
Wiggum doesn't even seem to know who the family are in this panel.
All he knows is that this man is a criminal. He needs to be taken to justice. This is a win-win for Maude, because not only does she get to be angry at Homer, she's also got to be pretty pleased deep inside that he's being dragged away.
I think this is a good situation for Maude, and I'm assuming just from the title that Homer does something that they then want to censor from happening again.
Well, let's see. So we have
Helen.
Very bad Helen. This is kind of like a mannequin Maude, right? Like it's a shop dummy kind of Maude. Once again, Ned's not too bad. You got Disco Stew, and also is that Newt Gingrich? Right-wing politician.
It's a guy called Birch Barlow who's he's like Springfield's Republican.
Ah, that's the one. So they're wearing T-shirts that say S5E5 AWSP, which is something we love. We love our acronyms.
I looked it up. I went back to the comic. It means Springfielders for children and families and well-behaved pets.
Nice, that's good. Essa, calf, awubup, and hang 'em high, Your Honour, gleefully shouting a
Toothless Helen.
woefully drawn Helen. Look at Lovejoy's arm. It's very thick. If this was a slightly later one, I'd think they just copied and pasted Ned's, but
Maude looks like a man.
She's definitely got a little bit more of a masculine face.
She's got like a thick neck and like a Leopold's cheek.
You wouldn't be surprised if there was a 5 o'clock shadow growing underneath.
Yes, she's got her arm up. We can't see it, but she has. And
the good old days.
She's transcending universes with this arm thing now. They're voting on something to do with Homer to make a decision about him, and obviously they're voting the way against him. So you don't need a lot of context, but it would help, but you don't need the context to know that Maude has basically seen Homer do something she doesn't like, and now she's trying to stop it happening.
She seems like she's all in favour of the death penalty for Homer if Helen's phrase is to be believed. Surely she wouldn't go that far. Surely not.
I thought that. I don't think it's supposed to be about hanging Homer, but it does sound like that. I don't know what it's in reference to, but I don't think it is Helen gleefully just saying, like hang him. Because I don't think Ned would be on board for that. But yeah, Disco Stew and Birch Barlow, just unusual.
Do you think Stu is kind of a right winger? Because you can suggest all of the others are kind of conservative leaning.
Definitely, this picture seems to suggest that, but nothing else does. You would place him on the exact opposite. You'd place him as far sort of left as you possibly could, I think.
Stu's got to be a loony left, surely, hasn't he?
I think Mr. Gimple maybe just likes Disco Stew.
Executive decision. Now let's move on to the final one this evening, which is Treehouse of Horror number 9, From Hell and Back, or the truer story of Jack the Ripper, which is the Jack the Ripper parody. But what I like about this is it's kind of drawn in the style of Alan Moore's From Hell. Not the crappy Johnny Depp movie, but the actual original comic, which is probably the best comic ever written. Very scary, very, very good comic. And it's in black and white, but other than that, they've done a pretty good job of rendering in that style.
Well, I have included this because this is my favourite. I've written it's my favourite Maude Bongo comic, but it might just be my favourite Simpsons Bongo comic in general. Like, I remember it very well. And I remember at the time, I must have been like 10 or 11 when they brought this out, just sort of being really into the style of it and really into sort of like the overall darkness of it.
Yeah. So
I just think it's really cool. According to my notes, it was released in September 2003.
really,
So I must have been like 13.
and the comic from Hell was out in 1999.
Timely as ever.
Yes, great comic. So we have a investorette related kind of opening where we have Maudlin, Marge, Luann, and Edna. Well rendered, very interesting takes. Doesn't she look beautiful, says Maud. Sweet, don't they make a lovely couple, says Luann. And grumbling Marge has to say, I don't trust that Joe Diamond. Then we move on to the Five Bells. Not sure what that means. Is that the name of the pub? Mo comes over and says, so if there's anything you need, ladies, he drinks or whatever. And Maud says, my goodness, but who would want poor Lurleen dead? And
Marge.
Ka-ching, Marge. And Maud says, perhaps it was Fat Tony's boys.
I'll interject for the first two. It's funny that Mo just looks like Mo in his normal style. And
Marge kind of does too. But whereas Maud definitely does not.
Yeah, I'm really into sort of the thickness of the lines here. And and the colouring, it's all very like dull colours. Anything that sort of usually is very bright, they've toned down. Like even Edna's jacket isn't the green that it would normally be. I think Mo is lurking around to make him, it's supposed to be like a funny Mo thing, but I think it's maybe to make him look a bit like a suspect at this point.
Who done it?
Yes. And I thought at first in that second panel, I thought Maud was wearing like a fishnet top, but then I realised it's like a shawl, like a old-timey shawl. But at first I thought she was just dressed as a hooker. It's implied, obviously, with the Jack the Ripper thing, it's implied that they're supposed to be hookers.
That's the kind of dodgy thing, isn't it? That Jack the Ripper was a stalker of ladies of the night, and the suggestion seems to be in this children's comic that maybe these ladies are doing something illicit.
Exactly, Jack the Ripper Derrida. I've written for the second panel, that's a fun Luann. That second one, that's probably the worst thing in here. But
it's a Muppet show, Luann.
Worst to me in this context, I don't think worst is the correct word, because none of this to me is. I'm a fan of wrong designs anyway.
That Edna is good though. That second panel, Edna.
Maud looks very monkeyish there instead of ducky. Like she's got like a sort of gorilla nose and mouth where it sort of like comes down in the second one. Yes.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's referring to Fat Tony again, even in this world, she seems to have some kind of mafia connection.
Callback, isn't it? So we move on. We say, Mo says, just holler, I'm right here, he. Luann, what about that new husband of hers? Marge, we don't know anything about him, Luann. Maud finally chirps in, but he couldn't have anything to do with it, could he? Cut to Homer, and I guess Wiggum, in Eisner Square, White Spring Chapel. Eisner being a very famous cartoonist. Another one by the same murderer. Another two. We found Maud Stride near Burns Street, but it looks as if he was interrupted. Suggestion that unfortunately in this Bongo verse alternative, Maud didn't make it.
Yeah, and this is after, even though I just said that thing about trying to keep the post-death stuff for afterwards, this is after she's died on the show. But I'm pretty sure she's the only one that doesn't get an on-panel death out of those ladies. Like I'm pretty sure Edna gets one, I think, and Luann's taking the worst of it, I think. I forgot to mention in that first panel as well, Maud says like and you can sort of hear it in the Fargo-y Maud voice. Like doesn't she? That to me sounds like Maud. They're doing a very good job with this.
Okay.
Gary Suspension Millage is the man who wrote this. Which is a great name. The panel 3 I've written, we capture a sad Maud there very well. Edna's livid, but Maud looks really sad with the situation. She seems to be more upset about the death of Lurleen than, like scared for herself.
Very empathetic.
She's also trusting of Diamond Joe Quimby, like naively trusting of him, which I think that's just a Flanders thing. That doesn't seem like a Maud thing specifically. It seems more like a Ned kind of thing, but I'll take it.
Does it turn out, do we find out who done it or not?
Yeah, I think it's not even like a mystery really in the story. I think it's Burns.
Oh.
I'm going to go back and read it the whole way through, but Whoever it is, it's basically they're just walking around for it just being the murderer, whilst they're trying to still in the background figure it out. So I think it is Burns.
It's an especially gruesome end there for Luan.
This might be our first Nedless Maude in the Bongo world that I can remember. This is the first sort of investorettes Maude that we've had. I can't remember looking at that situation before, which is nice. Maude Stride. Why? What's that in reference to? I'm hoping that it's not a direct reference to one of the actual murder victims.
That would be a bit gruesome, wouldn't it? Be a bit cold.
And the way that Wiggum says what he says, it looks like he was interrupted. That makes it sound like they found Maude in a pretty bad way. And like, she probably had the worst death. But also that Luan, which is also fun. Are they supposed to be glasses at the side of her eye? Her eye's been ripped out.
They're huge, aren't they? These things.
Yeah, they're supposed to be her glasses because it looks like
her glasses.
It looks like she's still wearing her glasses.
What?
So I just assumed they might have been her eyeball.
No, they'd be too big for those.
Yes, but this is probably the only time Maude's died off screen as a character who they like to throw, especially in the Bongo, they like to give her a death. This is the only time it's happened off screen, I think.
Is this the third Maude death that we've experienced so far?
In the Bongo?
And just in general in this cast?
Yes, we've had Falling Off the Noah's Ark thing, obviously the real one, and then this.
Yeah, done that one. Yeah, so
there's probably another Bongo one. There's definitely more to come.
Time is pressing, and I can see the signs there. The Space Casino is just round the corner, so let's do a quick Maude art and diary to wrap this up. What about this?
Cute.
I don't know anything about it. It's just a nice, well-rendered Maude that we can all...
It looks like, and I'd mean this in a complimentary way, it looks like it was drawn by a child.
Adult artist. I'd like to compliment you by saying that you have a childlike wonder about your art.
Well, yeah, it doesn't look like it's unprofessionally done. It just sort of has a childlike element to it. I don't know why. Maybe I did it as a child, and that's why it feels that way. But no, it's sweet. It looks quite human.
Yeah.
The less is more effect on the face works.
Some nice smudges here to give the effect of
a black eye.
Of white. I think all in all, a long neck. I think Maude in the real world probably would have a long neck. You know, she's always
pointing,
peering around corners and pointing and stuff. Comic accurate, cartoon accurate clothing, and rendered in a nice pencil, black and white pencil.
And you've got that sort of on the right side of the hair. There is like a weird hair bump that Maude has that I always try and include, and they've included that. It's like a incorrect bump that Maude has.
So she doesn't have a full-on kind of like broccoli head. She has almost broccoli, but then she has a couple of like more straighter pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's always a bit at the side that juts out. This does remind me of when I worked at JD Sports many years ago. I remember just one time a woman came in the shop who looked the closest I've ever seen to a real life Maude Flanders. Like she had the broccoli orange sort of like, not full broccoli, but basically Maude's haircut, and she was wearing like a pink cardigan, and it was too similar. So this reminds me of that.
Nice.
I hope that lady's listening.
Well, not much more to say. Hopefully it's on screen right now and you're all enjoying it, or if you're listening on the iTunes, then you can imagine that it's a well-rendered, not particularly realistic, but not cartoonish either too much. Childlike in its innocence and wonder. Well done.
Yeah.
And
9 more, so 10.
9.3. And do you have a diary this week?
We do, and I will begin it now.
Dear Diary, this week has been very turbulent for me in this 2D world that I live in. Ned went missing in the forest and just sort of vanished. We had like a funeral for him and everything. Like I thought it was over. I was back on the scene for a couple of days. But that's between me and Dr. Hibbert. When Ned came back, it was like just really weird and like anarchistic. I didn't like it, so I followed him around for a bit, and it led me back into the forest. And I was tired, so I camped there for the night. And in the middle of the night, I heard some sort of spacey noises. I looked out, and there was just a spaceship with a big green light coming out of it, and it beamed me up on board. And there was 2 giant green aliens called Keith and Carl or something, I can't remember. And they were very angry with me for interrupting their plans with Ned. And then Sideshow Bob came out, and he was like, yeah, I'm working with the aliens to do something specifically to your husband, Ned. I was like, why? Of all the grand schemes you've come up with, this one you have access to aliens, but you just want to mess around with Ned. What's wrong with you? Get a grip. You're a loser. You're all losers. Nobody will ever truly love you. You were the worst sideshow on that show. I wanted to see more Raheem and less Bob. The only good thing you've done is try to murder my next door neighbour's child. And as for you two, you one-eyed fox. You think you're intimidating. I know what's waiting for me in the afterlife, so try me, bitches. And they just sat me back down, and after that, Ned was alright after like a week, and I think Sideshow Bob's back in jail, and aliens exist, but I'm not going to dwell on that, because in some ways, isn't Jesus an alien? Bye.
It's blown. Not only did she maybe have a dalliance with Hibbert, only days after Ned had been declared dead, no waiting around for Maude, and aliens are real, and she believes Jesus was an alien, and she thinks that everybody else is going to go to hell. We know that part already, but
that didn't come up. Yeah,
quite
Bongo diary.
Quite a turbulent time in Bongo land.
Luann Van Houten has too much knowledge. That's all I know.
She does know a lot. Let's find out a little bit more about what that knowledge is at some days.
No, let's go to the dark side of the moon.
Well, we've just left the dark side of the moon, and now we're just about... I've just realised John Poop's gone. He's just fallen off in the spaceship. So does anyone know how to steer this ship?
I'll have a go.
Are you Envelope?
Yeah.
All right. Envelope. See if they can take us down onto this... onto the space casino. That'll be good for a few episodes, won't it? That'll pad out the season. Nice. But shall we finish up with a song?
Yeah, space casino, space casino, space casino.
Shh, everyone. All right. Who's going first?
You.
Okay. A crowd is now gathered around the statue of beloved town founder.
To witness what appear to be.
Oh, get your Jebediah hankies showing and blowing and showing.
I felt his pain, J. Vernon Pentecost.
J. Vernon Pentecost, authenticating.
Oh, diddly yow.
Peace and love, I'm not cooking with a smile.
This all.
Listen up, I ambrose all of yours.
Healthy church treasury, bulk rageous big buyers club membership card.
Dave, Mr. Snoopy, Nagelman.
Private Richard.
Prison pastels.
Hypnohead's wind control kit.
Manky Red Modeling.
Obscenity sensitive.
Your daddy's going away for a long time.
Hang 'em high yawn.
Right-wing disco stew.
Springfielders for something and pets.
Well-behaved pets. Eyeballs on the pavement.
Don't trust that Joe Diamond.
Don't trust that Joe Diamond.
Don't trust that Joe Diamond.
The end. We did it. Technical difficulties aside, Envelope's going to bring us down nicely, and we're going to explore this space casino. Who knows whether it will be off screen or whether it will be on screen in the next episode, but I'm for one looking forward to going to space, Blackjack, into space, Jim Robbie on I believe it's Ganymede. I believe we're landing on Ganymede, the moon of Jupiter. That'd be
wonderful.
Right.
One of the best moons.
It's the biggest moon in the Milky Way.
That's where you'd put a casino.
Isn't it where Doctor Who comes from as well?
Isn't that Gallifrey?
Oh. Alrighty, well, bye everyone. Hope everyone's safely. I hope John Poop gets them all back safe to Earth, and I hope very soon we find Matthew McConaughey and finish our space mission. So, bye everyone.
Maude would be a bad Doctor Who.
Why is that? I'll entertain your question. Why is that?
I just,
Post credit.
I don't. You know, she's not main enough. She's not central enough. She'd just leave halfway through. She'd kill like 3 Daleks, and then she just wouldn't be appearing. She wouldn't be in the rest of the episode.
Where's the
And it'd
doctor?
just be. I think she's not Billy Piper and Don Cheadle just doing the best.
And what's that fella off the chaser called?
Oh yeah, Bradley Walsh. Just to clarify, Diane was in the explosion. She survived. I just want to make that clear now for any confusion.